It was late autumn. The sky had been covered with grey clouds for a week, and at night the wind blew so fiercely that it felt like the air itself was scraping against the windows. It was on such a night that Anya, a student, was returning home from her part-time job at a store. She lived alone. Her parents had gone abroad and left her an old apartment in a panel building on the outskirts of town. The building was strange. The lights in the entryway were always out. Anya often joked about living in a ghost house, until one night the jokes ran out. It was about 3 o'clock. Anya woke up to a knocking sound, not loud, but persistent. Knock, knock, knock. At first she thought someone was hammering nails, but who would do that at 3 in the morning? The knocking came from behind the wall, right by the headboard. She listened. Silence. And only the wind somewhere in the distance. Anya sighed, rolled over, and almost fell asleep. Then, suddenly, again, knock, knock, knock. Now the sound was clearer, as if someone was knocking from inside the wall. She turned on the light and looked around. No one. She had no cats, no neighbours on the other side of the wall either. No one had lived on that side of the apartment for a long time. At least, that's what she'd been told. The next day, Anya told the janitor, old Uncle Stepan, everything. He frowned and said quietly, "Little girl, you probably live in apartment 32? "Yes," she replied. "Why?" He hesitated. "Well, about 10 years ago, a woman went missing. The neighbours complained of knocking coming from behind the wall. Then, silence. And when they forced the door open, it was no longer there. Only footprints." "What footprints?" Anya asked. "Bloody," he said, crossing himself. "Right on the wall, where the knocking was coming from." That night, Anya couldn't sleep. She turned on the light, the music, but the knocking still came. This time it was faster, louder, as if someone was pounding with a fist. Knock, knock, knock. She jumped up, ran to the wall, put her ear to it, and suddenly heard a whisper. So quiet, as if someone was speaking directly from inside the concrete. "Let me go." Anya recoiled. Her heart began to pound wildly. The whisper grew louder, becoming clearer, and now the voice was calling her name. "Anya, let me go." She screamed, grabbed her phone and tried to turn on the flashlight, but the screen suddenly went dark. The entire room was plunged into darkness, and only in the corner, on the wall, did a shadow begin to appear. At first blurry, then clearer, a human silhouette, elongated, unnaturally thin. The silhouette slowly moved toward the bed. Anya pressed herself against the opposite wall and, with trembling hands, fumbled for the switch. Click! The light flashed and the shadow disappeared. The next morning she called an electrician. The man examined the wall and suddenly said, "Miss, did you know there's no apartment behind this wall?" "How come?" Anya didn't understand. "There are neighbours there." "No." He knocked on the concrete. "It's an old ventilation shaft, long since sealed up." "Sealed up?" "Yes, but it's strange." The electrician frowned. "Why is there an echo inside, as if someone's there?" That night, Anya went to bed with the light on, but somewhere around morning she finally fell asleep and woke up to a rustling sound. Not a knock, not a voice, a rustling, as if someone was slowly crawling along the wall. She opened her eyes and saw the paint on the wall begin to quiver, bubble and crack. Fingers emerged from the crack, thin, grey, long, like a dead person's. The fingers found the edge of the crack and reached out. Anya screamed, but no one answered. The light flickered, the air grew cold, and a hand emerged from the wall, then a second, then a head. Eyeless, only dark hollows from which a grey liquid flowed. The creature whispered, "You called me, Anya. Now I'm home." The next morning, the door to apartment 32 was wide open. Inside, there was not a single trace of Anya. Only by the bed, a handprint on the wall, as if someone had pressed a palm against it from the inside. And if you approached in the silence, you could hear knock, knock, knock,